your experience being in there against Israel Adesanya. I'm just curious to know what you think about him moving up to light heavyweight to challenge Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do really well. I actually think he's gonna win. And but at the same time, is he gonna be defending both belts? I don't know. That's the only question that comes to mind is like, is he gonna move up and stay there, or is he gonna defend both?
Do you think that holds up the division at all? Him making that decision to move up?
Mm, not yet. I don't see how yet, but eventually there's gonna be a time where he has to decide what he's gonna do.
Yeah, and how do you think it goes down between him and Jan?
I think he's gonna win. I think he's very highly skilled, and I know that he's probably fought at higher weights in the past, so I don't think this is gonna be a problem for him.
Adesanya and Blachowicz, champion versus champion. What do you think about that? Who do you think comes?
I I think Blachowicz has heavy hands, but I think the experience has to go to Adesanya. I think Izzy's gonna pull that one out.
I gotta go Adesanya, man. I'm a huge fan of him. I love his style. I love everything he's about. I love what he brings to the table. He has the extra. It's not just fighting. He brings the extra to it, which is hard. So I'm a fan of that, and I'm loving the risk he's taking of going up and fighting a guy like that. So I'm gonna go with him, but it's a scary fight, man. It's a scary fight because that guy can hit. So we'll see. I'm definitely going with Izzy though.
Adesanya and Blachowicz. How do you see that going down? Obviously, champion versus champion.
I think it could be really good for our division, even if Izzy loses. Like, as long as Jan is competitive and it's a good fight, and he shows that he is the champion of the world for a reason. Obviously, if he beats him, that's huge for our entire division. It shows how strong we are and how good our champion is. And we've kind of all played this round robin thing where some of us have beat this guy and he beat that guy, but I beat him. And like, so we're like, if Jan beats Izzy, we're all fairly comparable up there at the, like in the top 10, like any kind of one of those guys could beat any other guys. So that would be phenomenal. But even if Jan loses, but it's a close fight and he's competitive and he has a good showing, I still think it still really highlights our division.
So how do you see that fight going down? Well, what would be your prediction if you had to, if you were an analyst for this one? How do you see it going down?
I think stylistically it definitely favors Izzy. Jan is he's not crazy mobile. He does have a habit of standing in front of people. He doesn't have really, really dynamic head movement or footwork. He just kind of plods forward, and he has this amazing ability to like slow the fight down to his pace. He did it to Thiago Santos at the very beginning, and then Thiago was able to turn it back up, and that's where Jan got caught. But he did it to Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes fights very fast. He has a lot of movement, and Jan was able to drag him kind of in his kind of slow, methodical type of fight. If he can do that to Izzy, I think he has an opportunity to be super successful, but I just don't see Israel doing that. He's too dynamic of a striker. But Jan is really big. I've been next to both of them, and it's very clear that those guys are separated, it seems, by more than 2 weight classes. They're, Jan is a big dude. He's so big. So I don't know what that looks like. Izzy's hard to get a hold of, so maybe that size isn't really an issue. Well, I don't know if Izzy's power will translate to light heavyweight, but he's not really known as that power striker. He's kind of like Connor. He's crazy accurate, and his timing is really superior to anybody else that he fights. So I think like punching power comparably to the rest of the division, I bet Israel's not even in the top 10 as far as the actual strength of the strike. It's on the button every time, and it's in the perfect spot every single time. So I don't know. I mean, I would favor Israel just because he's been so dominant up to this point, over guys that have semi-similar styles to Jan. I think the only real thing that changes anything is his size. But he's crazy hard to get. I mean, how long we've been saying, well, if he gets taken down, we'll see what it looks like. Like, it hasn't happened yet. So I mean, he's done a phenomenal job of kind of guarding that part of his game.
Israel Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz, obviously champion versus champion. What do you think about that, and how do you see it going down?
Who doesn't love a champion versus champion fight? You know what I mean? It just, the build up is always good. There's a lot of hype behind it. And Jan's shown, I mean, this guy's dangerous. He's really battled back from like a 2-4 stretch in his first 6 fights in the UFC. Battled his way up to becoming light heavyweight champion. But he's got to go against Israel Adesanya. And that guy, I mean, this guy is so good. He's got an aura of greatness. He fights so well, ever improving. So, I mean, brimming with confidence. The guy's a special athlete, not just a special fighter, just a special athlete in general. It's hard to pick against a guy like that. I got to go with the man, Izzy Adesanya. I actually have his shirt in my suitcase, so I should have just went and grabbed it and like put it on the screen. But yeah, I'm pulling for Izzy.
What do you think about Israel Adesanya looking to go up to light heavyweight to challenge Jan Blachowicz? What do you think that does to the middleweight division? How do you see that playing out?
Well, he is an active champ, so I believe that he wants to go up there and win, and then come down and defend his belt again. So as long as not take too long and he stays active, it should be fine. I really hope that he wins the fight so he can keep his hype and his so he's undefeated when on that day when I go up and face him, because I want to fight the best Adesanya there is, and I want him to be undefeated, and I want him to be a double champ, so I can get that, when I beat him. So that's my hope.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you think he does against Jan Blachowicz then? How would you break down that fight, and how do you think he does?
Well, Jan is crafty and powerful, but I believe that Adesanya is on the next level when it comes to the striking. I think he's a lot quicker. I think it's going to be hard for Jan to hang with Adesanya, especially in the stand-up. But Adesanya is so good with his footwork and his range as well, so it's hard to take him down. So I really believe that Adesanya is gonna win that fight. Pretty convincingly.
I think Adesanya comes out the winner on that. Looking at his last few performances, he's looking great. I think he wins that fight.
Do you think it will be a tough one, or do you see him decisively winning?
I think he'll win on decision. To be honest, he's tough, Blachowicz. I think it'll be a decision, but I think Adesanya wins.